If you think you could never be vegan, you're in the right place. And if you think there's something big that you'd really like to do, but it's probably too late, you're in the right place. My name's Michelle Olander. I think there has never been a more important time to move in a vegan direction. So I'm here every week to hold your hand or cheer you on as you veg your best. Episode 163, Craving Vegan with Sam Turnbull. Welcome back, my Veg Your Bestie. Welcome back. And if you're new, you're very welcome. It is a big, big treat for me to present this week's guest. You know, I have been on Sam Turnbull's beautiful email list of vegan recipes for years and years. For those of you who might not be familiar with her, Sam Turnbull is the artist, the recipe developer, and that beautiful energy behind the very popular blog, It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken. It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken. That's where she shares vegan recipes and tips for transitioning to a plant-based diet without giving up the tastes, the textures of those foods that she grew up enjoying. As Sam says, she didn't go vegan because she didn't like the food. She went for animals and health and the environment. So, Craving Vegan, this is her third book, and it's coming out next week. Next week, if you're listening to this, it's coming out on October 24th, 2023. And Craving Vegan is all about satisfying your comfort food cravings without animal products. And inside, you'll find 101 recipes that recreate the tastes so many of us have told Sam that we crave. And so she's broken down these cravings into categories in the new book, Craving Vegan. Let's see if I've got them. Eggy, cheesy, creamy, spicy, meaty, chocolatey, sugary. We'll let her tell us all about them. But rather than always resisting these cravings with a smoothie or a grain bowl, Sam set out to veganize satisfying dishes so she could enjoy them cruelty-free. And the result is a mouth-watering collection of recipes. And I think it's going to prove to even the most reluctant plant-based eater that you don't have to compromise on flavor or comfort to follow a compassionate diet. Now, beyond the recipes, Craving Vegan includes so much guidance, beautiful photographs, ideas of stocking your vegan pantry, easy ingredient swaps. There's a lot in there. And if you pre-order Craving Vegan before the publication date next week, there are some great bonuses that Sam will tell us about. But actually, let's just hear all about it from Sam Turnbull herself. Sam Turnbull from It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken.com. Welcome to Veg Your Best podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, that's kind of you to say because you're kind of a star in the vegan world, and I'm really excited to have you on. Some of the things I've got 100, I think I've got 160 consecutive weekly episodes, and every 10 or 15 of them, I go, you know what? Maybe I'm brave enough to ask so-and-so. And it took me a while to ask you.
Oh, I'm so flattered. Thank you.
And I didn't know when I asked you that you've got a brand new book out.
I do.
Craving Vegan. So we're going to talk about all of that. And I want to tell you that I found your work and I was looking back, basically when you started your blog, It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken, because that's when I was committing to a vegan lifestyle. And your blog was so beautiful and colorful and bright and accessible. The foods were so accessible.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell me about what brought you to being a professional vegan?
A professional vegan. I love it. Yeah, so I definitely didn't get raised vegan. I grew up eating animal products. I lived on a farm. We had chickens and ducks sometimes as well. It was a tree farm, but we also had those things, and they were intended for eating and their eggs and all of that. So definitely never raised vegan. I was never vegetarian. I never went on any kind of diet. I was just not that person. I was like, I need meat for my protein and all of that garbage, as I know now. But then one day in 2012, I watched a documentary called Vegucated, and it completely changed my mind about the vegan diet and what it meant. And, I always thought of myself as an animal lover. And I realized that basically, in order for me to live my life according to my own values, I had to go vegan. And so I actually went vegan overnight. That was about 10 years ago. And so I cleaned out my whole kitchen and started anew. But because I'd always grown up eating animal products and cooking animal products, I had no idea how to be vegan. So originally I started by looking at the recipes that were available at the time and the things that were available. And 10 years ago, it was quite limited. Most people didn't know what the word vegan meant. A lot of people pronounced it vegan. And all the food was really kind of health focused. It was grain bowls and smoothies and energy balls, and all of that was fine, but it wasn't satisfying my cravings. I was really craving the foods that I grew up on, and so that's when I started developing my own recipes and posting them online, and that's how my blog It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken began. And once that started, I started getting comments from people all over the world saying they loved my recipes. And that's when I absolutely fell in love with recipe writing and the vegan community. And that's basically how it began. And it took about 2.5 years before I was doing it full time. It was very much a passion of love in the beginning. I would do it before and after my 9 to 5 job and on the weekends. But luckily I can say now that it's definitely turned into a full-blown career with the 3 books and the blog and a cooking course and a meal planner and all sorts of good stuff.
Let's talk about some of those, because those are fun. You have a master class. You have another book. Well, the first book was
Fuss-free vegan.
Fuss-free vegan. That's right.
Yeah, keeping it easy.
And you have Fast, Easy, Cheap, and
the new one that's coming out is called Craving Vegan. Yeah.
Craving Vegan. And that really, I think that name is probably suits you more than any of them, because so many of the foods that you've tested and put in your blog for years have been those foods that we do tend to crave, or the ones we go, oh, remember when I used to want a brownie sundae or something, as you usually have something cheesy, crunchy, something kind of unctuous and delicious.
Exactly.
And even if we want to mostly eat those grain bowls and mostly eat, low fat and high fiber, and we sometimes really want something fun.
Yeah, well, that's it. Food is not just for nutrition. It's also it has community. You share it with your family and friends. It could be comforting. It can be social. So yeah, I don't think of food just in a nutrition aspect. I also like just to enjoy it. It's flavors, it's pleasure.
And it's kind of a nice introduction for other people who maybe are not even thinking about eating vegan, don't have any of the concerns that maybe brought you to veganism, but they just want to eat something delicious today when they come over to your house.
Absolutely. And most of my friends and family aren't vegan, unfortunately, but I will tell you that no one ever turns down a dinner invitation at my house. Everyone is happy to eat here and is always blown away by the dishes.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing. I don't cook that much anymore at all, but most of the people in my life aren't vegan either. And I think they are surprised that I eat widely and, and enjoy my food. But there's I'm often telling my clients that you really will start to really enjoy some of these whole foods. Your taste buds will change. But your blog is the one I always send people to when they're like, I just need something more fun. I need something that reminds me of being a kid and reminds me of being at my grandmother's or at a time when I didn't think at all about health and nutrition. So I often send them yours. And plus, your whole approach is fun.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for all of that.
No, it is. And do you have an artistic background? Are you trained in arts or photography?
Yeah, funny you ask. I have my master's of fine arts. So yes.
So it shows. It definitely shows in the beautiful, your photographs and the way you express things on your blog.
Oh,
So you
thank you.
started with the blog, and you said it was a passion project. Where did
Mhm.
the name come from?
Well, I just wanted to have fun because I did find at the time that most of the blogs that were on veganism were either very serious because they're talking about animal cruelty, which is very important, but sad, and or health focused, like I'd mentioned. And I just wanted to show a different perspective. I just wanted to be fun and lighthearted about veganism. And of course, it's a serious topic when you're looking at it as far as animal cruelty goes, or your health, or the environment, but it's also really can be fun and enjoyable and exciting. And so I just wanted to have a little bit more fun. And so a lot of people know the expression, it tastes like chicken if something is bland or kind of just boring. And so I wanted to say it doesn't taste like chicken, kind of a double pun there.
That's great. And that is the website. It doesn't taste like chicken with no
Yes,
apostrophe. I
that's
stumbled
right.
over how many T's to put in a row there. But so yeah.
I know it's a long one. It's my Instagram handle and Facebook handle as well.
Yeah, and your Instagram's fabulous too. And I remember, so I think I'm trying to remember the things I first made when I was following your blog. And I think one of them is the brownie cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just super delicious.
Oh, thank
Super
you.
delicious. So I asked some of my Instagram followers things that they wanted me to ask you. A lot of people know you and follow you.
Oh,
And
fun.
one of them was, Instagram now, we all share our food all the time. We aren't
Mhm.
professional bloggers, but we all share our food. What is a recommendation you have when people are taking photographs of their food? Do you have a recommendation?
Yeah, so I'd say bright light is really helpful. So bright natural light is good. If you don't have food photography lights, I use food photography lighting just because I often shoot on rainy days. But if not, definitely natural lighting instead of like your overhead kitchen lighting. Those can make things look really yellow and shadowy. So try to take your photos in the sunshine instead. Simple. That's my personal aesthetic. Some people have really dark, moody photos, and that can be beautiful. My personal aesthetic is I like everything really bright and white and clean so that the food can speak for itself. As I've said before, in my cookbooks, when I'm talking to photographers or I'm doing my own food photography, I'm not trying to sell the napkin. I want them to want the food. So personally, I like it really simple. So I always just use white dishes and plates and maybe a fork, but that's it. I really try to highlight the food as what it is, something really desirable and delicious.
And there's certainly a consistency to your brand, your visual brand. They are bright and clean looking. Everything looks just super clean and like you just want to dig right in.
Thank you. That's how my house looks too, I hope. Lots of plants.
You see it right just there. That's great. This leads me to the next question that I have here is what are some foods, plants, veggies that you didn't really eat until you were vegan?
Yeah, so I didn't like eggplant before. I always thought it was spongy and weird. And since learning how to cook it, I realized it can be delicious and creamy and really savory. I was just cooking it wrong before. If it's spongy, it's because it's not cooked enough. Other than that, I'm not sure if there was things I didn't like so much because I've always been kind of an experimental eater, but there's definitely a lot of things that I was introduced to when going vegan, such as nutritional yeast, which is now one of my most favorite things, and I think a lot of vegans can relate to that. And vital wheat gluten, which is actually the protein in flour, but when you use that to mix it with other ingredients, soy sauce and tomatoes and beets and all these kind of very savory ingredients, you can make something called seitan, which is basically a meat substitute. And it's a really ancient technique, and it makes the most amazing, delicious, high protein, vegan, meaty thing you could ever think of.
Yeah, it gives a tremendous amount of texture
That's
to
right.
our foods, which can kind of start to feel a little bit monotextural sometimes, just grainy or
Exactly. If you ever had a vegan burger that kind of falls apart and is mushy, that's because it doesn't have gluten in it. Gluten is a magical ingredient. Unfortunately, not everyone can use it, so I do have gluten-free options as well. But yeah, for those who can enjoy it, it's a wonderful thing.
All right. So the next question is things that you just didn't like as a vegan, things that you tried to like. Some people have said to me, seitan is one thing that they've tried to like and they don't like yet.
They haven't made it right.
I'm sure you're right. Same thing with eggplant. Just like you said with eggplant, I agree.
Yeah.
A lot of people have never had it made correctly. Is there something you've tried to like and so far it's not for you yet?
Yeah, okra. And a lot of people tell me that I just have to have it right, fried, and I'm sure it can be done right, but I've never had it, so I enjoyed it. It's just a vegetable that's hairy on the outside and gooey, slimy in the middle, just not for me. But I'm always willing to try it. So if someone wants to prepare it and serve it to me, I definitely give it a try.
Yeah. Have you tried it in the deep south of the United States? Yeah.
No.
I ate it before I really knew what it was. And I think I would have been more repelled. But I had just had it often in the South when I was basically driving to Florida.
Yeah, well, I think that's where they know how to make it.
Yeah. I
do not, apparently. But I also haven't really tried that many times.
For me, it's kohlrabi. I just don't know what to do with it. I don't.
Oh, really? I love kohlrabi.
Yeah, I look at it and it ends up going bad in my fridge and it ends up going in the compost because I just don't know what to do with it. And I'm always like, this is the day I'm going to figure it out. And it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, just chop it up and add it to your salad. It's so fresh and crunchy. It just adds a lovely crunch.
So I'm overthinking it then, clearly.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's even good just to like cut into sticks and dip in hummus.
That I can do.
Yeah,
that
it's really
I can
easy.
definitely do.
And oddly, my dog loves kohlrabi. I don't know why. She goes nuts.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, she likes veggies.
So now the next question I have from my Instagram followers on Veg Your Best is, what is your advice for all of those people who are thinking they can make a cookbook?
Go for it. Do it. Why not? It's such a fun project. It's definitely a lot of work. And depending on how big your cookbook is, all 3 of my cookbooks have 101 recipes. So it's definitely a huge commitment, but you could always start with a little ebook, do 10 recipes of the recipes you're most proud of, do some nice photography and write them really clearly. And I think that would be a great thing. And if you have a decent sized Instagram following or Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or wherever you are, chances are there'll be a publisher who's interested in you too.
So that's all. That's for you, my Instagram followers. I asked all your questions. So now we're going to ask my questions. How do you go about, what's your process for testing recipes? Because I'm someone who I find very difficult to do anything the exact same way twice.
I measure very carefully. So that's not something I grew up doing. I was always taught just to throw food in the pan and just kind of wing it. And when I actually first started, it doesn't taste like chicken.com. I did that. I was just like, I'm not going to give people specific measurements. That's going to be too picky. And so I'm just going to say, add a handful of this and a splash of that. And then what I realized is everyone's idea of what a handful is or a splash or a pinch is different. And so when you do that, it's not actually that helpful if you're just that vague. And so I found it more helpful for people to be really specific. So whenever I make recipes, I very carefully measure every ingredient. Usually if I'm adding spices to a dish, I will add them maybe a 1/4 teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon at a time and add more and take note of the measurement. So that way, when I go to make the recipe again, it turns out exactly the same as the last time I made it, which is great. It's so reliable. I can make my recipes over again. I don't have to remember them because they're written down and they taste just as good as the last time I made them, which is great. Because I don't know if you've ever done it before, but in the past, I used to make recipes and I'd be like, oh, this is so delicious and amazing. And then I would try to make it again and it just wasn't the same. So measuring carefully is important.
No, for sure. Especially if you want to share it with anybody.
Exactly.
My late mother was famous for always leaving something out of any recipe she gave to us. And I or the grandkids would be like, Nana, it seems very wet or it seems very dry. You should be like, oh,
I forgot the flour. Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So then do you have a process? Do you have recipe testers that you send to see if they read the ingredients and read the instructions the way that you're anticipating they're reading them?
In the beginning, I had more of that because I was a newer recipe writer. But now after writing over 1,000 recipes, I'm very experienced in writing. And so I know how people read recipes. I know the proper way to write them. And I try to make it as clear and as easy as possible. Usually my husband, he works with me. He will review the recipe just to make sure it is clear and I didn't like mess up any words because I tend to type too fast and skip over words. But yeah, so I don't actually have recipe testers anymore other than my mom and my stepmom, or mother-in-law. Actually, I don't have a stepmom. I always mess those up, stepmom and mother-in-law.
Completely different in the fairy tales.
Completely different. Mother-in-law, what I meant. But yeah, so they love making my recipes, of course, and give their feedback. But yeah, mainly it's just me in the kitchen these days.
And so when you have, as you said, most of the people around you are not vegan. And do you keep things vegan in your home, or do you, like I do, it's vegan for me, but if other people come in and out, they are, as long as they take it out with them when they go, they're allowed.
Yeah, no, we have an entirely vegan home. So I'm vegan, my husband is vegan, and my dog is vegan.
Oh, that's very nice. That's
yeah,
very nice.
It's lovely. I think your home is your sanctuary. It's the space you should feel the most comfortable. And animal products honestly don't make me feel very comfortable. So I don't want them in my house. And no one has a problem respecting that. So, I mean, no one has a problem not respecting that.
Right.
Can you imagine? Like show up and like, here's a roasted chicken. No, no one would ever do that. No, that would be
Marvelous.
awful.
Yeah, that's marvelous.
But just like it's my home and it's my sanctuary, and I respect that. I respect that other people are going to have different homes and different rules, and that's totally fine, right? It should be the place that you're comfortable.
All right. So now with Craving Vegan, which when this episode goes live, your book will be either about to be published or just published. I think it's coming up in mid-October, correct?
Yeah. So the cookbook comes out on October 24th.
So tell me, Craving Vegan, what is a little bit different for you about Craving Vegan?
So the idea came up when I was actually doing a podcast with a couple other vegan influencers, and the host asked a question, what does comfort food mean to you? And the first two influencers answered pretty similarly, that it was about comforting and home cooking, that kind of thing, which I agreed with. But then when I thought about it, when it comes to comfort food for me, it really, I think more about textures and flavors. So when I'm craving something, I think I'm craving crunchy, I'm craving spicy, I'm craving fluffy and carby, I'm craving like meaty and chewy, I'm craving chocolatey and silky. So that's how I thought of it. And so I decided to write a book called Craving Vegan that is specifically addressing any craving a vegan or non-vegan might have. So instead of organizing the book by chapters like soups and salads and pastas, they're actually organized by craving. So the chapters are eggy, carby, cheesy, creamy, crunchy, spicy, meaty, chocolatey, and sugary.
Wow.
Tell me you're not drooling already, right?
Of course, of course. Yeah, I know that I crave crunchy a lot, and I crave eggy. So where would eggy be in those chapters?
Yeah, eggy is the first chapter, although not all of the recipes are kind of breakfast. But, we have things like a dippy egg yolk, a spinach quiche, egg fried rice, a folded egg sandwich. So a lot of really fun eggy recipes for the people who love eggy dishes.
And do you use black salt in that, the kala namak salt, to get that kind of flavor?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It has that magical eggy flavor. Which is so great and handy. And then I use other things like turmeric, which adds that nice rich yellow color. So we have a lot of fun making those recipes. And depending on the recipe, some of them I use mung beans, some of them I use chickpeas, some of them I use tofu. So there's a lot of playing around with different textures to get different textures of eggs.
Well, that's exciting. No, I think people are really going to love that chapter. I feel that that's the chapter people are really going to love.
Yeah. It's interesting. I did a poll on Instagram and everyone has a different opinion. Some people are chocolatey, some are crunchy, some are cheesy, some are meaty. So it's great.
Yeah, no. And meaty, tell us a little bit about what's in the meaty chapter. I'm not going to make you go through all your chapters. Everybody's got to go look at that book for themselves.
That's okay. I'd be excited to. I love my chapters. So meaty, of course, is very savory. It's all about the tastes and the textures. So I have things like sausage bolognese, which I've made, I can't even tell you how many times. That's a really great one to serve to non-vegans as well. I have ginger beef, which I've served to a big beef fan or like a cow beef fan, and he couldn't believe how good it was. I've made a red lentil pate, which I've served to chefs, and they couldn't believe that it was vegan. So there's a lot of really fun recipes that are kind of shocking that they're vegan because they just taste so meaty. Rack of ribs, even, there's a lot of good stuff.
Now, you're in Toronto area. Are you in actually downtown Toronto, or are you in one of the
Yeah.
outlying? You're in Toronto.
Yeah.
So, Toronto, my husband's Canadian. He's a Montrealer, but many of the Montreal people have moved to Toronto in the last 20 years. And it is a big vegan, very vegan friendly city now.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah, 10 years ago it wasn't, but it sure is now. It's amazing.
And you guys are even exporting some of your restaurants to in chains to the rest of America, like Planta, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's very exciting.
And do you have any ambitions in that area?
To open a restaurant? No, I don't think so. That seems like crazy work. I don't know. I wouldn't want to do the late nights and the crazy kitchen work. I'm very much a recipe writer more than a restaurant chef. I like taking my time in the kitchen, putting on tunes and, jotting down my recipe as I'm going at my own pace. Cooking at a mass scale and a rush is just not the thing for me. So unless someone wants to write a restaurant with my recipes and I could be a part of it that way, yeah, but I wouldn't want to be in the kitchen to do it.
Well, I think you've got the aesthetic that would just make a marvelous spot for people to go to.
Thank
so
you.
That would be, so I guess we're just going to have to make that spot in our own homes with your aesthetic, which I think that sounds marvelous too. So now with Craving Vegan, I'm going to share some social media things before this podcast comes out, because there are some bonuses for people, right? Yeah, if they pre-order. So can you tell us anything about the bonuses for pre-orders?
Yeah, so I'm offering a lot of free goodies for anyone who pre-orders. And the reason I do that is because pre-ordering really helps the cookbook launch properly. It helps make a bestseller list. It helps tells different stores that vegan cookbooks are in demand, and it tells the culinary world that. So it's really important if you want to support anyone who's writing a cookbook to order it even before it comes out. That's what a pre-order means. And so just as a thank you for doing that, because it does make a world of difference for the success of the book. So just as a thank you, I'm just giving so many fun free bonuses that I've had so much fun creating. So the first one is a e-cookbook with 9 additional recipes, one to represent each chapter, which you can get right away. And that's just fun. All those recipes are exclusive. You can't get them on the blog. You can't get them on the book. They're just all little bonuses. There's printable notebooks, and there's going to be some other ones coming out. So those are the 2 that are available right now as of recording, but I'm currently working on filming a little cooking class where I'm teaching you how to make some of the recipes that are in the cookbook. So some of the more complicated ones, I'm demonstrating how to make them, which is really fun. I normally sell my cooking courses for $97, and this one will be just completely free as a thank you for anyone who orders the book.
It matters so much. It really matters.
It matters so much. It's the difference between your book ending up in the back corner or covered in dust in a bookstore, or possibly being featured in the front. And we want to put all the vegan cookbooks right at the front, of course.
That's it. Absolutely. There's never enough vegan podcasts, never enough vegan cookbooks in my mind.
That's right. The more the better. Let's make the world a vegan place.
Absolutely. So will you be doing a book tour at all, a physical book tour or a virtual book tour when the book is out?
Not sure. That hasn't been planned yet. So stay tuned, I guess.
Okay. Well, please let us know so we can share that. So everybody, whether they're tuning in or if they're in that location, so they'll be able to pop up and say hello to you.
Fantastic. Yes. If you want to join my email list, that's usually the best place. So if you just go to my blog, you'll get a little email sign up prompt there, and you also get a little free cookbook. Or you can follow me on Instagram too. And if you pay attention to my stories, I always announce a lot of stuff there and share my daily ramblings.
That's great. No, that's the best way, I think, to follow you is Instagram and your email list, because I've been on your email list a really long time.
Oh, have you? That's awesome.
Yeah, really long time.
You got all the goods.
So tell me about your masterclass. Is that still running right now?
Yeah, so I've been teaching cooking classes on theultimatevegankitchen.com. So I'm building a new course right now. There's none currently available for sale, but I'm building a new one, and it's called Seitan School. And so I'm going to be teaching you how to make seitan. So for anyone who says that they've made seitan before and it turned out rubbery or brainy or mushy or just terrible in any way, flavorless, maybe like too chewy, then this is the school that is going to teach you how to do that. And originally, when we started recording, we were thinking of just a handful of recipes, but I've ended up getting so deep into it that we're doing a whole section on different beefy recipes, a whole different section on chickeny recipes, a whole section on deli meats and sausages. And so it just goes on and on and on. So we're still working on that, but that should be released in November, hopefully. It's going to be a huge course. It's going to be so fun. And yeah, if you're interested in that, you can go to theultimatevegankitchen.com and sign up for the wait list, and you'll be the first to know about it and get early bird specials.
I think that will be great. I would love to have a little more comfort level with making seitan instead of buying it, because then you have to remember which commercial brand you liked, and some of them are okay and some of them are good, but then you have to remember it would be so, because it's not really that hard, right?
It's not really that hard, but it is a science. It's a lot more similar to baking because the measurements do have to be right. The temperatures have to be right. The technique has to be right. And so this is why I thought it was something that was really natural to a course, because most people who've made it have come across errors. So I film everything in real time. So there's no cuts where it like zooms ahead and it's like, and now it's done.
That's great.
And so you get to see exactly how long it takes, exactly everything I'm adding, exactly the textures. I'm always holding things up to the camera so you can see what it's supposed to look like. So I think it'll be really helpful for people.
A little hand holding.
Yeah, well, and it's a tricky thing. So I'm not surprised that people need that. It's really fun. And if you're someone who has a meaty craving, it's definitely the right one for you.
So what have you not tackled yet? Is there an area that you're like, I haven't done that yet? Maybe is it like fish type of work, or some sort of a dessert, or something that you haven't tackled yet?
I'm not sure. I mean, I do have a fishy section on the blog, although I don't call it fishy. That sounds not so appealing. And I don't know. I mean, anything that comes along that I'm really excited to try, I will eagerly do it. So nothing yet. But that said, I do have a recipe idea list that goes on and on. It's pages long. So it's never ending, the ideas of things I want to try.
Now, one of my themes for this fall, for me, for my work, for my podcast, for the people I follow, is to get my systems a little bit more streamlined, to get my Google Docs. I've been trying to make Google work for me a little bit more efficiently. Is there a system that you use that you would recommend? Is there anything in your back end, in your processing, that you think, that made a lot of difference for me?
I'm just a constant to-do list person. So I just use notes on Apple computer and my phone because it syncs, which is great. And I just have an ongoing to-do list. I don't know if it's a great advice. The other thing is I live by my calendar. I'm not a good multitasker. I can't do two things at once. So it has to be on the calendar, or basically it will not happen. So just that. And so my calendar is shared across a few people, depending on what it is. And so that's really helpful to make sure you're joining the podcasts on time and you're getting the recipe writing done and all those things.
That's great. Well, those calendars are really, if anybody who is resistant to getting the digital calendars synced
so
up
much better
with other people, much better. So much better. Yeah, absolutely. And and we're walking around with that phone all the time. So the pictures, the notes, the calendar can all just be real time synced.
Exactly. And you can set it so it alerts you, which I love.
Me too.
Gives you a warning and you're like, oh yeah, right, I have to do that.
Me too. And so that to-do list can be kind of endless, but it doesn't, you said you're not a multitasker. I think that the sad news is, whether we think we are or we're not, where none of us really is, because it just takes so much time to multitask. We circle back and we're back at square one, just too much, even though we
probably
yeah,
depends on the person. I think my husband's pretty good at multitasking, just not me.
Or he thinks he is, maybe.
Or he thinks he is.
No, I'm sure he's great. So what else can we make sure that we do? So we're going to follow you on Instagram. We're going to get you on your email list by going to itdoesn'ttastelikechicken.com.
Yeah.
And we're going to pre-order. If people are still hearing this before the publication date, we're going to pre-order to get some of the bonuses.
Yes.
So how else can we support you, Sam?
I'm on Facebook at It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken. So if you're not on Instagram, that's another way to find me. The cooking courses at theultimatevegankitchen.com. And if you like meal planning, I actually have an online meal planner as well to make it really easy. And so that's at the easyveganmealplan.com, or just easyveganmealplan.com.
The Easy Vegan Meal Plan.
Yeah.
Sam Turnbull. That's great. There's too many ways. There's too many things you're doing. We have to.
I try my best. I just want to help everyone out.
We have to catch up. You
I
really
just,
have.
anytime someone says, "Oh, I would be vegan," but I like to answer the but. I could be vegan, except it's too hard. Well, here's the easy vegan meal plan. I would be vegan, except I miss cheese. Well, here's an entire chapter dedicated to cheesy recipes. That's the way my brain works, is I always just want to make veganism really approachable and exciting and delicious for everyone.
That's my work too, and if you're not going to do it perfectly, don't worry, just start.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why there's all these amazing podcasts and books and everything out for people to help them along.
Sam Turnbull, thank you so much for making time to be on Veg Your Best. We're going to be following you and we're going to be sharing your work. And I can't wait to see what you do next. But right now we're busy with Craving Vegan.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been an absolute blast.
So what did you think of Sam Turnbull, huh? If you follow Sam at her website, itdoesn'ttastelechicken.com, or at her Instagram, It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken, you will be able to find out everything going on with Sam's book launch for Craving Vegan. And you'll also find so many of the recipes that she sends out to her list for free all the time. And the photographs are stunning. I love what Sam said, too. She said that pre-ordering the book, it's not just a kindness to her, but it's a message to the booksellers and the publishers that vegan matters, that vegan is important, that people want more vegan information. And the bonuses you get with pre-ordering are, let's see if I've got them straight here, 9 exclusive additional recipes, 1 from each craving category, printable notebooks, a free trial of Sam's easy vegan meal plan. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed getting to know Sam Turnbull a bit better. It's my privilege to have this opportunity, this platform, to bring you the people and the ideas and the tools every week that you can use, you can share, all just in an effort to make it a little easier and a little more fun to veg your best. Veg Your Best podcast production, music, and editing by Charlie Weinshank. Thanks, Charlie. Before you go, it would mean so much to me and the Veg Your Best team if you would hit subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, or share with someone you think might be interested. Something about algorithms, it helps bump us up a little in the rankings, and that's the best way to help others find the podcast and for us to find our audience. So, until next week, make it easy and veg your best.